Hello, everyone. Welcome to the spooky edition of the strategy session. How are you? How you doing, Kendra?
I'm great, Americo. How are you? It's been
Uh,
a while and I'm happy to see you.
it is. It's definitely been a while. I'm so glad that we're back together. Let's call this episode 1 of season 2. It is the fall. It is the fall, television season. So we'll kind of lean into that. I know there's a few things that were going on that kept us from uh, going on stage and sharing our messages and our voices. But hey, summer has wound down, and we're gearing up again, and we'll continue to do these as available. And we know we're running a business, and things get in the way. But hey, I love doing these. Love them so much that I turned it into a business, helping others
Right?
do this. Isn't it funny how
Yeah,
things happen?
it's funny sometimes the natural progression that our businesses take. I totally agree with that.
Well, let's jump into some quick introductory messages. If you want to take a moment here, let's welcome our audience members, those who are joining us live. If you have questions, drop them in comments. We are live streaming across multiple platforms. We are streaming across LinkedIn, Substack, and YouTube today. So don't forget to like, comment, and share. um, I'm excited. We have a fantastic conversation lined up for today, don't we?
Yeah, it's a pretty deep topic and I'm excited to get into it. I think there's a lot of differing opinions on the topic and also audience opinions are welcome.
Absolutely. All right. So, why don't we start off with quick introductions and we'll jump right into it? And let me turn off the volume here on Substack. Why don't you kick us off with a quick
Sure, sounds
introduction?
great. I see you have my information up here. Thank you for doing that. It looks great. My name is Kendra Noel, and I'm the owner of Boomtag Media. I do host a podcast called the Business Boom Podcast, and I just published episode 18. So I started that this summer, but it's going strong. And I've heard that people give up by like episode 10. So I'm not giving up. I can just say that that's going to continue to go. And like you said, continue to do these strategy sessions with you as much as possible. But yeah, I do digital marketing strategy mostly for service based businesses.
Fantastic. All right. And I am your co host, Americo, coach and producer of live stream and on demand event experiences. My focus, when asked, what problems do you solve? I'm here to stop you from overthinking going live. There's a strategy that complements your existing business, and this strategy helps you accelerate how you're seen, how you're heard, and how you are remembered. So, enough about that. Why don't we jump into today's conversation? We are talking about different social media platforms,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And last week, I put out a poll and asked the question: what platform do you think supports creators the best? And the options were LinkedIn, YouTube, and Substack. And then the fourth option was other, for all the other platforms that exist. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, all the other platforms, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams, some I've tried and they just don't work. And I'm hoping someone in the audience across the multiple channels that we're streaming can add some insight that will have me reconsider going back, perhaps with a different strategy.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we have Lynn and Lachelle who are joining us on Substack. Welcome, ladies. Now, we can't see the comments that come through Substack. So I may from time to time look distracted as I look away to my second monitor to read the comments in there.
Oh, okay. I wondered
Oh,
how that worked, honestly.
yeah,
So that's good to know since you're the live streaming expert that when you stream to Substack, you have to pay attention to the comments on a different.
stream. And this is not to say that this will always be that way. At some point, they might improve their integration with restreaming platforms, and we'll be able to see things differently. But at the moment, yeah, you do have to have both instances up and running to be able to monitor. Those
Mhm.
joining us on LinkedIn, that we can see in the feed. Hello to Joshua. Actually, Lachelle is on LinkedIn. Hello, Lachelle, America's Supermom. Lachelle just had me guest speak moments ago. Within the last hour, I was on her show. So we're now back to back with Lachelle. We
Awesome.
LinkedIn don't know who you are. You're coming up as LinkedIn member. Hello from the chat. Well, hello. If don't know who you are, drop a name. Give me a clue as to who might be on the other end of that LinkedIn user. Be happy to introduce you and welcome you by name. We had some great attendees. RSVPs were extremely high. So I'm hoping that we get some great questions, some great engagement, but more importantly, some great advice, because we're not here to dictate and spoon feed our ideology to our
Right.
community, right? We're here to share our thoughts, but we're also here to inspire the thoughts of others, because
Yes.
that's what makes up a great strategy. It's right.
I agree, and we only have our experiences to go from. I mean, I have some experience from clients as well, but it's pretty limited. So getting input from as many people as possible, I think is super helpful. I love that you did the poll, and that's kind of what started the conversation.
Well,
And
here's let's jump into that.
okay.
The poll is still live and people can still participate, but at the moment, which platform do you think supports creators best? YouTube is in the lead with 41% of respondents saying YouTube is my jam. It supports me as a creator. Now, I'm going to keep this screen up. We're off camera here for a second, but people can still hear us. I'm going to ask you the question because I know you jumped in with a response, but let's hear it live. What platform today do you think supports you best as a creator?
Oh my goodness. I think I clicked other because I was like, I am still figuring this out. And then you're like, well, let's have a conversation about it. So we're having the conversation. I've always said LinkedIn, to be honest, for years. I've said LinkedIn. I think that that's changing a little bit. I have been pleasantly surprised with YouTube. I just started a YouTube channel this year. So, and started using it a lot more frequently, making regular posts and doing shorts. And the long form content, I think I still have some work to do to really get to creator status. But the shorts, I'm surprised. Sometimes those way outdo what they're doing on the Meta platforms or on TikTok. And I would think of those like short video reels to be they're kind of made almost for Instagram or TikTok, but they perform extremely well on YouTube.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm diving into the whole YouTube experience and creating shorts and creating mixes that moments ago before we went live, I created a quick remix from the last time you actually had me on as a guest on your podcast, just to see what reaction. And that's one thing I love doing on behalf of my community, is testing things out. Let's
Mhm.
let's see what works. So it was an hour before us going live, and I jumped into one of my guest appearances. You were the host, and I figured, all right, let's test. Let's create a short clip from here and share with our community. We're going live in the next hour, and see if that works, because I think there's some great potential when you cross-pollinate content and have people kind of engage in different landing spots.
I agree. Uh-huh.
All right, so the LinkedIn user, the mystery is over. Hi, it's Anne from Freelo. I guess I have the settings on that keep me Incognito. Ooh, incognito. Ho, ho, ha, ha. This is a spooky show. All right. Well, thanks
Yeah,
for coming clean and sharing who you are, LinkedIn user. Happy to have you, um, with or without your name, and it's a pleasure to have you. Okay, now bear with me. This is the first time that I am successfully uh, streaming or restreaming on Substack. I did conduct a test. The test went really well, and then my last two attempts, I did not connect to Substack. So if I miss your comments in Substack, I do apologize. I just want to reiterate the importance that when you're producing a live show, things are going to happen. Balls might drop, and I always make a commitment and recommendation that if we missed your comments, we will always circle back and respond to them. So
absolutely. Yeah.
those who are joining us on Substack, thank you so much for joining us live. See, we have 5 listeners joining on that feed. All right, so let's jump into another question here, which I think is great. So we talked about when you think about platforms, which one truly supports you. Here's another one. Do you think that platform choice should be based more on audience behavior or creator strength?
Hmm.
Or
Audience behavior is huge, right?
yeah,
Because that's how
absolutely.
people are gonna engage with you, and you kinda need to expect how the engagement's gonna happen. Or
Absolutely.
creator strength? That is a really good question.
I think they can both be done effectively. I don't think it's just one or the other. Um, but for instance, people and top voices and top creators will say, show up where your community is and
Mhm,
be yourself. But I can't be myself. I'm not the bathroom selfie type of guy who takes those pictures and tries to show up on social media platforms telling the world how great I am. It's just not
mhm,
my persona. It's not my personality. And as much as I try, if I were to do it and follow that mantra, fake it till you make it, listen, I'll be faking it and it just wouldn't feel real. So I, as a result, I knew that I had no business being on TikTok. For instance, I landed myself in TikTok jail and never really cared to get back to TikTok live or TikTok at all. So I took
mhm.
down the business account. Will I revisit it? Sure, there's always a possibility to revisit it as things change. But I see TikTok, I see X as those quick and snappy types of platforms
Mhm,
where I want to bring value. I want to bring not so much entertainment, which I think TikTok is more of an entertainment platform. Now, people might disagree with me, and that's fine. But I can't get my message out in 60 to 90 seconds, as those platforms suggest. I'm
mhm.
I'm a meat and potatoes type of person. Even when it comes to my content, it is lengthy, it is conversational, it is deep with thought and deep in details. So I'm more of an educator, almost like a master class, a webinar. We come in, we bring value, we have conversation. Can't do that in 60 seconds, which uh,
Yeah. Can I disagree with you a little bit on that?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. I've just found where well, you talk about creator strengths in this question. So I think that one of my strengths has been helping people with those short bits. Even when they do something that's hard to explain, let's say, and like they want to get really in depth and into the details and explaining what they do, a lot of that can still be broken down into short little bits that are more relatable for those social media platforms that are a little bit more entertainment. So edutainment, where you're educating
Edutainment,
them
yeah.
in entertaining them at the same time. I don't know. I found that to be kind of a strength, and not everybody loves it, and that doesn't always get the engagement that the flat out entertainment gets, but still, it's getting your message out there.
So great segue. And I love how these questions come together and just flow with ease into our conversations. So based on what you just shared, how can we as creators stay consistent and authentic when showing up across multiple platforms? I said it myself. I pulled the plug because I don't think I can get it done in 60 seconds. You disagreed with me, which is perfectly fine. You believe it can be done, and the tech is there, right? And we're going to jump into that a little later with Substack and some of the capabilities in creating shorts on that platform, which might have me revisit the whole short content strategy once again, but maybe for 2026. What are your thoughts on staying consistent?
Consistent and authentic across platforms. Um, you know, I think sometimes doing the reels where you're talking, or some people do it in stories, can actually be a great way to stay consistent across platforms, because you're not relying on a trend at that point, or trendy music. You're relating on your message, or you're relying on your message, right? And you can record it once and post it everywhere. I do that a lot. I'll record a short reel of me talking, and it's going on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and LinkedIn. I haven't done Substack yet. I don't even know if reels are an option on Substack. So we'll have to get into that conversation, because I'm interested to know more on how you're using it.
All right, so why don't we do that? Let's start off with our favorite. Well, my favorite, not necessarily everyone else's favorite. Let's talk about LinkedIn. So what's LinkedIn known for? It's known for, right, credibility. It's known for its strategic growth. It's known for its B2B community.
Yeah,
LinkedIn has positioned itself to help creators build social authority and connecting those communities with high value audience members. B2B is where they support creators the most. Now, we're starting to see more and more pay to play type of activity happening in the LinkedIn ecosystem, but still, for those who are free, non-premium members, there's still a great opportunity for those who are coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs to
absolutely.
show up and build authority without having to pay for that credibility. If you do it
Mhm.
effectively, it does work. And I'm going to pause here and talk a little bit about effectively. Every year, and people give me grief for this, but every year around Q4, this time of the year, I do a purge. I clean up my social media community, and LinkedIn sees about, on average, 1,000 members that I unfollow, remove connections from, because for me, it's important to not only show up, but to bring value that is relevant to those who are inside my ecosystem. If we're chasing virality, and if we're just chasing followers and stand a microscopic piece of that algorithm that everyone tries to beat and crack, we know that when our posts go out, when our content goes out, it gets pushed to a very small percentage of our community. And
Mhm.
here's how I look at it. If that small percentage, 2%, 5%, they say, depending on what your research and what your prompt is, the results come back at 2 to 5% is what is the average that's being pushed. Now, if that 2 to 5% of the community that my content is being pushed out to are inactive, are not aligned with my values, or I'm no longer aligned with their values because I started off as a job seeker and the platform was focused on me as a professional and not me as a business owner. So if my content starts going out to people who have zero alignment, then they're not going to engage, they're not going to support, and my visibility shrinks. It just falls flat. So each year I kind of clean it up a little bit, and I start seeing in my analytics that my impressions are now higher. My profile views are kind of flat, but members reached also higher. So for me, it's important to clean it up. I will always recommend doing this. Others would say, well, why let them in the first place? Well, they may have been relevant at the time.
Yeah, I see.
May no longer be relevant today, right? We move, we make professional career pivots, business pivots, and what was relevant a year ago may not be relevant today. So it's great advice. Why let them in the first place? And the answer is it was relevant, right?
Yeah.
So to maintain that professional credibility, I always suggest, establishing trust, but also knowing when to let go, right?
Yeah.
Do you have any hacks, any secrets, any best practices?
Well, I've never done a purge from followers or connections, but I can see where that might be helpful or something I should consider doing in the future. My target market demographic or whatever has changed over the years that I've had LinkedIn. So uh, I don't know. I have a lot of old banking connections and stuff, and I like to stay connected with them. In fact, an old colleague just posted yesterday that they're buying a bank in another city here in Wyoming. And I commented because when I worked there, I'm like, I always thought that they should expand to that area. So there's something about staying connected with old colleagues and stuff. Like, I like that, even though they're not in the entrepreneur space. But as far as LinkedIn goes, I think that it's really easy to get distracted by impressions and kind of feel down about it or like it's not the best platform. But I always say the magic is actually in the connections and the DMs, not so much in the posting and impressions. It's still
That's right.
important. It's important to do, right? Like, even if you feel like your analytics are stinking, it's still important to do, but there's more to LinkedIn than just posting.
Hey, and here's what I like about LinkedIn, the creator mode, which allows anyone who has 150 members, followers, and connections. I think it's a variation of both. You unlock the creator mode where you can go live, create newsletters, and get enhanced analytics. This is so valuable, right?
Mhm.
I stand behind going live because it allows me to engage with my community. It allows me to help others with their community in real time. And there's no better feeling, especially today when AI, which is such a valuable tool, but everyone is leaning into it and may not be using it to its fullest capability. We're all starting to sound and read so vanilla. We're all
Yeah.
entering the same prompts and it's spitting out the same results. And listen, you're not going to gain any authority when you sound just like everyone else,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, and AI can't fake being live and having a real conversation.
AI could not fake being live. Now, there was a
Mhm.
question, and it might be another episode for another week. There was the question this weekend about who listens to AI generated podcasts. And that stirred up a lot of conversation, a lot of engagement. So we'll probably dive into that another time.
Okay.
But here's another thing. It's just not the AI. I'm starting to feel hate for the Canva templates. Everyone's jumping into Canva. I see my insurance colleagues, I see real estate colleagues. Everyone's got this Canva template, zero engagement, zero likes, zero comments. Hey, reach out to me if you have questions. It's like, what are you doing? It's like you're a service professional, whether you're in real estate, whether you're in insurance. Jump on a live, have a Q&A, spend time immersed with your community, answering trends, answering questions, educating, and
Yeah.
separating yourself. Differentiate yourself from those Canva posts. Hey, got questions? Reach out. Like, no. Why would I trust someone who's got zero engagement? Why would I trust someone who's gone to Canva and created this lovely template? You've given me no reason to like, know, and trust you. Right? You've given me reason to believe that you can create a template just like we all can, right? And
Yeah.
and post it and call yourself a of whatever kind you are, and give yourself your accreditations and say that you're well respected in the community, and put that in a Canva style template. But that just doesn't cut it anymore. At least my opinion, it does not cut it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. If you really want to stand out and not blend in, you've got to do something different. So I think that this is a really good strategy of having conversations and going live.
Another thing that going live does, and all platforms that we're talking about today, is a great place to repurpose our live conversations, right? Some people have a difficult time. They struggle to come up with content ideas. When you go live, listen, this conversation can be chopped up. I am going to repurpose it into a blog style summary on Substack. It might find its way into my newsletter that I put out once a month. And it will definitely find its way into short clips. And I no longer have to compete with coming up with written content versus coming up with live content. All my content is either raising awareness to invite people to show up, or telling people what they missed and summarizing what took place during a live conversation. And that also helps and promotes that trust factor, which is so important. I'm no
Yeah.
longer, or we're no longer showing up in different platforms with different personas. Like, why is it that when I find Americo on one platform, he sounds and gives me different vibe than when he's on LinkedIn? Now it's all the same. It's all unilateral. I'm showing up in different places, but the message is the same. And just like with the customer experience, you want things to be seamless. You want someone to transition and still hear the same message, get the same experience, but get it in a format in which they enjoy consuming, whether it's listening, whether it's reading, whether it's watching. We're now doing that. I'm going to step off my soapbox here for a minute and let you jump in.
You're good. No, I think we've covered the LinkedIn
All right, let's move into
platform pretty
the next.
well. Yeah, let's go to the next one.
Let's move into the next one.
Okay.
Substack. So a lot of people are hearing about Substack. Listen, Substack's been around since 2017. But it's
I
only
did not
been
know that. Like, I thought it was fairly new. I hadn't heard about it till you started talking about it, to be honest.
50 million creators globally, 70 million visits monthly. So it's nothing to turn your blind eye to. It is definitely, it has its place in this social landscape. It also allows people to own their community. So unlike other platforms, you create, and as you grow organically, that list of members is yours. You can import it, export it, and use it and lean into it.
Oh, I've got a question
All
for
right.
you.
Yes.
Okay, because I've been paying attention to the marketing emails that I get from you, and they look different since you started talking about Substack. So tell me, are you sending marketing emails straight from Substack now?
So am I sending marketing emails straight from? No, I'm
Or
sending
is it
marketing.
a newsletter that gets emailed to your
If you're
list?
following, if you're following me on Substack,
Mhm.
you will
I
get
did.
Yeah, you will get email notifications each time I post. So if it's a blog or a
Oh.
newsletter, it will automatically push it out to those who are following or subscribed to my account.
Oh, okay. So it kind of does a double duty then, huh?
It does it does more than a double duty. Uh, listen, there are people who are considering monetizing, and this platform does that. It actually stands behind creators, I would say, better than any other platform.
So
Substack
this was
is
definitely your vote in the poll with Substack.
well with my polls. I'll be honest with you. I try not to taint or dilute the results. I never respond to my own polls. It doesn't sit well with me that I can influence the direction of the results. So my opinion, yes. My opinion is Substack is light years ahead of the others when it comes to offering support for creators. They're interested in you finding your success because they only make money when you start making money. So you can sit in that ecosystem for as long as you want. And when you decide that you're ready to put up a paywall and create a paid community, that's when they jump in and start monetizing off of your success.
Okay. Can we stay on Substack for a minute because I have a lot of questions?
All right,
And I'd
let's.
love to see if there's any questions from the audience as well. Because I think it's something that people don't know a lot about, or at least not very many people know about it. Um, so you said that there's no algorithm to compete against. Since there's no algorithm, is there a feed, or how do people find you?
There is a feed that people can find you. There is a search capability. So if you're in marketing and you write about marketing or you talk about marketing, you can do a search and it'll bring up all the creators that write about the subject matter that you find yourself in, digital marketing. And people can then read without following or without subscribing, just kind of get your vibe. And if it's something that they resonate with, you'll get some following and you'll get some subscribers. Now, on that subject, and this is my personal opinion, because I think it's important for me to share this just so that people can think about their strategy differently. I have, and I'm humbled by the following that I get on LinkedIn, but I'm not prepared to ask all my followers, hey, come follow me on Substack. Because if I do that, then I don't want to come off as spammy. Why is America showing up everywhere? So know your place with intention. And then it's not a strategy that I say is going to work for everyone. Some people might prefer to do that. But when we talk about show up where your audience is, it doesn't mean bring your audience to everywhere you're showing up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You may have people who only follow you on one of your channels, and that's completely
That's enough.
fine.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's when you look at the numbers, mind you, it's been a short period of time, but when you look at the numbers, they're relatively small. And I would imagine they'll continue to be small following compared to LinkedIn. But I'm fine with that. If people come naturally over and they want to see and read what I'm talking about that I no longer share on LinkedIn, they're going to be able to read it. And I will share that in my posts. I now have my posts intentionally pointing everyone in the direction where they can find or read more about our events. Right. So my YouTube channel, I'll go on platforms like local platforms, nextdoor.com. I'll push my YouTube channel there because not everyone who's on nextdoor.com is going to be on LinkedIn. These local businesses, like last week, you had your guest was a quilt maker, right? They
Yeah.
may or may not be on LinkedIn. Why would I push or encourage someone, hey, come meet me on LinkedIn if that's not where they're hanging out.
Right. She actually wasn't on LinkedIn, but let me tell you what I was really pleasantly surprised about is she has a very engaged community and her email list is really good. And so she put out the link to the YouTube recording um, to her email list, and I had never, not one of my videos has had as many views as that one. So doing a live or a podcast interview or something like that with someone who is willing to promote it as much as you do is super important. Having someone on as a guest who has an engaged email list, I found that that is really beneficial.
It is beneficial. And speaking of benefits, let's continue with Substack. The benefit that I see, the biggest benefit, is the multi-format publishing feature.
Okay.
So back in 2017, when they first came to the marketplace, Substack was a writer's platform. If you're a creator, an author, a writer, and loved writing, this was the place to hang out. Now, during my academic years, and even today, I'll be the first to put my hand up. Not a big fan of reading. It's not how I learn best. I'd rather listen, watch, to consume my content in
Yep,
my
I'm the
right.
same as far as learning. I'm not a big reader either.
And I hated writing. I did it because I had to during academic years. Today, I do it because it's a requirement. But ask me if I enjoy doing it, I'd probably say it's not the one thing I enjoy doing most. But here's the beauty. You can now upload, you can go live. We're live now on Substack. Substack will allow us to go live. If you have a podcast, you can upload your podcast, your RSS feed, and link it to Substack. You can, at the end of each episode, guess what Substack's going to do for me? It is going to take the transcription and put together, it's going to recommend a blog, which I can then edit and summarize today's conversation. It is also going to create up to 4 shorts that they believe, will have the best opportunity to get maybe not viral content, but will get the most eyes. They will pick out the 4 best clips. You can then also create clips of your own. Just go into the transcript and create as many clips as you want to highlight. Listen, it is simple to access. It is simple to build community. It is authentic. There is a hack that people suggest, seeing how there's no rhythmic system. Yeah, I'm sure there's an algorithm of some sort, but and I say this very loosely, but I say algorithm free. I doubt it. I'm sure there's something that's going on in the background,
Right.
but it has this feature called notes, similar to tweets on Twitter. Short, bite-sized content that apparently is a hack for reach, because it finds its way into the feed. Can you hear the dog? The dog just walked into the room.
I can hear. That's okay.
So
We love dogs, so not a big deal.
Here's the thing about going live. Stuff's going to happen. I had the door closed. It found its way to unlock and let itself in. All right. So I can't speak enough about it. I am not a pro at it. I am learning as we go along. Maybe I'm pushing a couple of months into it, but every time I go in, I'm reading and meeting great creators and learning so much about a platform that I'm almost embarrassed to say I should have jumped on years ago. But it's never too late, right?
That's true. Yeah. Like since I just started YouTube this year, I would say I totally agree with that sentiment that it's not too late.
Hello, Juliet. Thanks for joining us. It is a pleasure. We also have Curtis joining us on Substack. Thank you for those who are joining. And as mentioned, if you have questions, comments, best practices, tips of your own for the platforms that we're talking about today, or even tips on platforms that we might not talk about today, because our poll was focused and concentrated on 3. We were talking about LinkedIn, we were talking about Substack, and we were talking about our next one, YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I pulled away from Facebook, I pulled away from Twitter or X, and I'm trying to navigate and improve my place in LinkedIn, in YouTube. The visibility, and you touched on it early, the visibility is through the roof, right? And anyone who has been at it for quite some time, they will share with you how great it is for creators. Yes, there's the massive global reach, over 2 billion monthly active users. Are we going to reach all of them? I think it's safe to say with any platform, regardless of how big they are, you're not going to reach everyone. You're going to hit posts, and it's not going to hit that global audience to that magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
But it has a place in my ecosystem. It has a place in other communities, and I love it. At first, it used to be a place where I get to discover, how am I going to repair that leaky faucet? Right? And
Yeah, lots of how-to
there's
videos
a
on
lot
there
of
for sure.
how-to videos. And that's how I thought I'd consume YouTube. But now that I'm seeing the analytics and the data
Mm-hmm.
behind each of my live events, I'm astonished when I go into the YouTube studio and I see that people were listening or watching on their television. Like, smart TVs allow for us to search. You would think that most of the YouTube content is consumed, or this type of content is consumed, on mobile devices, desktops.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're pulling up a seat on your comfy couch and you're listening to America and what he has to say from your television, it's like, wow.
That is really interesting. I didn't
I,
know that you could get that type of
you
analytics
can
from
get that
YouTube.
type of analytics. You can see from what devices people are tuning in from. And
Yeah,
it is just humbling when you make it to someone television.
that is interesting. I have smart TV, obviously, and YouTube is an option on there. I've used it a couple times, but most of the time, smart TV, I'm using Netflix or Amazon to watch shows and movies and that kind of thing. I wouldn't have really thought of it for consuming this kind of content.
So now you're going to pay closer attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, check out your YouTube studio. The analytics that are there are incredible. And speaking of analytics, going back to Substack has some great, fantastic analytics that similarly tells you where your content was found and how people got to it. So I can see that some people, I thought, was it DuckDuckGo
Oh, the
is
search
the
engine?
search
Yeah.
engine. It'll tell you where people are searching you. DuckDuckGo, Google, it will tell you, like, for instance, this live stream, I will be able to go back and watch and listen to our engagement spikes. Where did we get the highest or the most engagement? And that'll spark content ideas. Hey, people were really engaged between, the 15 and 20 minute mark. What were we talking
Mhm.
about at that time? All right,
Yeah.
we were talking about YouTube. Great. That tells me or triggers me to write more about YouTube, because that's where I may have gotten the most engagement. So
Mhm.
the analytics on Slack, I can't speak highly enough about what they have to offer for for a free platform.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got a question now that we've been through these three. Where do you find that you get the most engagement or inquiries about your business?
So that still remains LinkedIn.
Yes. Same.
Right? Yeah.
I wondered if you had the same answer.
Yeah. So LinkedIn still, I would say, from a business generation perspective, it's still the place where I get the most inquiries, next to perhaps my website. Now, the website might get inquiries that are driven by YouTube and by Substack because I hyperlink my website on those two platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So that when I'm, in fact, you're bringing up a great reminder. It's time to jump into my Google analytics and see how much change has transpired in if I'm getting more traffic coming in from either of those on my website. So analytics are so important. Those insights, accessing that comprehensive performance information on any of those platforms is so vital because there are hidden buying signals, there are hidden content triggers and signals that will make your life as a content creator so much easier, so that you don't have to feel like you're spinning your wheels trying to come up with ideas to improve your engagement. Your engagement, your audience is telling you what resonates with them. And that data is gold. When you're able to pick out that data, you just start creating content around those peaks, those engagement peaks, because that's what people want to hear. That's what people want to learn more and get your insight from.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, it's super fun to play around with it and see what performs better on which platform too. That's something that I enjoy because, like I said, a lot of times I'll take the same post and spread it across all the different platforms. And on one platform, it may get hardly anything. And then on another platform, it may get 2,000 views or more. So I'm always trying to figure out what it was about the post or about the platform that made it perform well or tank. And I'm going to be honest, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Hey, here's another thing. Let's remind those who are listening, live or on demand. Engagement impressions isn't the end. So don't be hard on yourself. If you're not getting the engagement, you're not getting the impressions, don't be hard on yourself. Stick to consistency,
Yeah, I
because
agree.
the day will come, if it hasn't already, where someone reaches out to you and says, hey, I came across one of your profiles, one of your posts, one of your lives, something, and you don't know this person from Adam. You don't
Mhm.
see them engaging. They're not connected to you. You know, some people like to refer to them as the lurkers.
Oh, yeah, we had a whole conversation about
We
that
have a
once,
whole
and that is
conversation
true.
around that. So don't get upset if people
Mhm.
aren't engaging. Just stay consistent, stay true to your message. We have comment being added here. I love running my analytics data through AI because it brings up so many little things I may not have noticed. All right. Now I'm going to ask, uh, are there any particular prompts? Are there any particular uh, best practices when asking your AI agent to go through your data, your analytics?
That's
Love
a
to.
really great question, yeah,
I'd love
and
to hear that.
I'd also like to hear if they're just using a screenshot of the analytics and then uploading that into ChatGPT or whatever AI they're using, but I'm kinda wondering how you present your analytics to AI.
So if we're connected, LinkedIn user, then send me a DM. I'd love to welcome you onto our stage. If anyone who's listening live would like to join us on stage and share their thoughts, their best practices, and add to the conversation, be happy to welcome and have you join us on stage. We have 10 minutes before the top of the hour, and be just ecstatic to learn from our community members as to what is working.
Yeah, I love it when people engage in the comments, but it always brings it to another level when someone joins the stage.
All right. Now, while we're waiting to see if we have someone join us, here's something for you. Here's a question I'm going to pose to you. What's the one platform that you personally are excited about right now, and why? Is there something new happening in one of the platforms that has you excited?
Huh. I don't know about excited, but since we're talking about analytic data, you did ask another question on that poll, like a associated question, which platform do you feel like gives you the best analytic data?
Yes.
And I enjoy the analytics on Instagram quite a bit, as far as like demographic and that kind of thing, and what
All right.
time they're watching or what time they're viewing it.
Let's jump into that then. What is it that gives you the most value? Is it your demographics? Is it the geography? What do you take away as your golden nugget when you're looking at your metadata?
Mhm.
You're talking from your business console, right?
No, I'm just talking about the Instagram platform
Just the
itself.
Instagram. All right, let's hear it.
Yeah. What do I enjoy the most about that?
Yeah.
I think seeing like men versus women. Demographics is pretty interesting. I think age group and where they're viewing from. Time is an important one as well because it may indicate when's a good time to post for that account. But just like the overall, I think it's very interesting.
Now, is your business, we're going to build up on that. Is your business tied to a demographic? Do you do better with millennial business owners versus Gen X business owners? Is that important to you?
Yeah, I don't know about who's viewing it, like that actually turns into a client and how those demographics relate to each other. But I could say that most of my current clients are millennial or older.
Fair enough.
Hmm.
So there is value. I think the one thing that Meta, so whether it's IG or Facebook, what they do or make it easy to do is boost
Yeah.
at a relatively low cost, and it gives you that choice. Who do you want to boost to? Pick your geography, pick your age group, and hats off to them. They have made it extremely easy to boost. I think TikTok also makes it extremely easy to boost, but I never spent $1 trying to boost my posts on TikTok. But I will agree, there are some fascinating analytics. Now, truth be told, I've spent money because they've made it so easy and got zero results. So don't don't fool yourself in spending money for impressions.
Hmm.
Right? It is, yes, it'll give you the visibility, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to 10x your sales. If you want that extra set of eyes, if you're looking for eyeballs, great place at relatively low cost to get those eyeballs. I personally, there's so much to take away from each of the platforms. They all have great data. Substack, yeah, I'm still trying to figure out which data points I love the best. If it's where people are searching from, it did prompt me when I started seeing search engines coming up. Google, if I'm coming up on Google searches, if I'm coming up on, I said DuckDuckGo, but if I'm coming up on search engine searches, that tells me it's an opportunity to go back to my Google business page and put some polish on it, update the content, update my offerings, make sure that what is there is still relevant, because I now know that I'm getting more eyes on that. And I wasn't really spending that much time on my Google business page. I set it up, and it's kind of every time someone drops a review, I'll go in and revisit it. But thanks to Substack, it has reminded me that this is an important part of your ecosystem. You got to keep this fresh and relevant so that those who are searching and find you through Google searches or other forms of search, that your information is relevant.
Right. I'm going to have to give some more attention to Substack now. I think I said that the last time that you mentioned it, but now that you've given me a better rundown about why I need to care about it, it sounds like it's something that I should be paying attention to. And honestly, a lot of the things that you described that it will do, I'm using different programs to do. And so if it can consolidate some of the work that I'm already doing, I think that that could be a great potential thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a time saver. There's no doubt about that. It will save you time. We're currently streaming on Restream, and for those who have the pro account, it will generate short clips as well. But some of us who don't have the capability of using this functionality on Restream, we probably go on to different platforms, Opus Clip or platforms similar to that, upload the transcripts and upload the videos and create shorts. But Substack does it for you. It's all embedded. It automates it. It suggests what it thinks you should push out. And I did test this. I pushed out Substack generated shorts and manually created shorts. And the Substack generated, the native ones that were created, performed better than the ones I created manually.
Well, that's good to know.
So take their advice when they're recommending, hey, here's something we think will get you additional eyes on your community. Use it, leverage it.
Very cool.
Hey, we are at the top of the hour, and it's always a pleasure to join and share the stage with you.
Thanks for having me again.
This was the spooky edition. Hope everyone who stuck around got some value out of our conversation today. Stay tuned. Follow me on Substack and YouTube. You will start seeing for yourself how I will repurpose and regenerate content from this live event. It'll find its way throughout the social platforms that I'm hanging out on. So if you missed the live event, be sure to find content that will talk about today's conversation. So for now, I want to thank Kendra and our audience members who stuck around and joined the conversation. It was an absolute pleasure. For those on Substack, 8 listeners live, it is an absolute pleasure to have you join us, part of the Go Live experience and ecosystem that I create within my communities. Kendra, looking forward to seeing more from you on Substack.
Right.
And we didn't talk about this, but here's another thing that I learned, that perhaps millions of people are aware of it, and maybe I'm the only one who realized. On YouTube, you can also post content, written content.
Okay, I didn't know about the written content, to be honest, but I did discover that you can do like picture posts like you would do on Instagram with like a still
Yeah.
image or a carousel that can be done on YouTube too, which I did not realize until just recently.
Yeah, and apparently it's some creators say it's a hack. It gets you more eyes. I've yet to see it, but I'm relatively new. I'm starting to share my posts and my content um, as well on YouTube, and not just my video content. So
Mhm.
that is my jam. That is where I'm hanging out. Those three platforms believe will serve my community best, and whatever works for you, I think is
Yeah.
the takeaway here. I'm not here to advocate only use these three. There are an abundance of platforms that many people have a lot of success with. But today's conversation was really centered around the poll and what platforms we feel, or we ask the community what platforms the community feels provide the best support for creators.
Yeah.
So YouTube
Well, thank you,
is
Americo. Thanks for hosting this live, and I wanted to say thank you to everyone who watches the replay as well.
fantastic. All right, folks, we have reached the top of the hour. Once again, thank you, and until next time.